Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Entitled Parent tries to enter my apartment to measure the bedroom. After that, I can't sell you this animal. And after that, can we have 35 sandwiches to go for our meeting in 30 minutes? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen doesn't get a sandwich. You can't do this to me. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Entitled Parent tries to enter my apartment to measure the bedroom. So this happened 3 years ago. I was renting a basement apartment that I loved. My landlords were great, aunt and uncle of my childhood friend, and I lived there for 3.5 years. Halfway through, they told me they wanted to sell the place, but probably not that soon, since the husband was working on a commercial ship 9 months at a time. I just asked them to tell me when they decided to sell. Anyway, 13 to 14 months pass and they decide to start the process. They introduce me to the realtors, everything gets sorted out. Up to this point, everything is going great. Realtors give me the 24-hour notice before they bring buyers, and I can stay home during the showings or go about my business. I have no complaints about them or my landlords throughout the entire process. Then one day, I just got back from work and I didn't feel like going out again. Realtors came with a family of 5 or 6. It was announced, I just forgot, so I decided to stay. Family consisted of mother, father, adult daughter, and 2 or 3 kids. Can't remember. Father was a piece of work. Now, thing is, I lived in a touristy town on the Mediterranean coast. It was summer. People try to pull all sorts of cons here. Entitled Father: I know you said someone lived here, but we had hoped to stay a couple of days to get the feel of the apartment. Realtor: what? This place isn't for rent. OP already lives here. Entitled Father: Well, I can't buy something just like that, but okay. Obviously, we can't stay the night. Me: Sorry, no, you can't. I live here. He moves on, measures things left and right, wondering out loud if their large wardrobe will fit into the bedroom. How he wants to buy an apartment for his daughter in case she wants to go to college here. Eventually, they pack up and leave for the beach. I saw them later. Beach was 2 minutes away from the apartment. The next day, there were no scheduled showings, so I decided to do one thing everyone does when they live right next to the beach: take a nap after work. But before my head even hit the pillow, I hear someone coming down the stairs. There were only 2 basement apartments, and my neighbors were away for the week. I get up and go for the door to spy, but before I even made it halfway there, someone rattles the doorknob, and then, 10 seconds later, starts knocking. I was really confused and freaked out. I go to the door, and lo and behold, it's Entitled Father from yesterday. I do not open my door. Me: Who is it? It's me, Entitled Father. We were here yesterday. Me: What do you want? I want to measure the space in the bedroom to see if my daughter's wardrobe will fit. Me: No, you're not getting in. But I can't buy the place if I don't know. It's for my daughter. Me: Then call the realtor. They have all the measurements on file. I'm not letting you in. I'll buy this place and evict you. Me: Good luck. I have 3 months left on the lease. You can't do crap about that. My landlords told me if the place sells before my lease is up, contract will state I can't be evicted before my lease is up. I already had a place lined up. Entitled Dad starts yelling, and I hear him go away. I called the landlords and realtors after that. They were all mortified and worried someone like that just came to my place, tried to let himself in, and threatened to evict me. Entitled Father did not buy the apartment after all because landlords refused to ever deal with him again. Realtors told him it was sold. To this day, I believe their plan was to find a place to crash at for a few days for a free vacation under the pretext of buying the place for their daughter. I still had to improvise webcams around the apartment to keep an eye on it while I was at work for the remainder of my stay there. I spent the entire summer not feeling safe in my home. Do you think they were really interested in renting? Or do you think they were just trying to crash for a few days? Please let us know. There's nothing wrong with crashing. I do it all the time. I can't sell you this animal. So just before Christmas, I got 2 little rats who are my absolute life. I spend more money on treats and toys for them than I do food for myself. They came from my local pet store, and it also happens to be where I go for most of their stuff. I made an effort to learn as much as I could about the animals before I got them and carried this on after getting them, At this point, I know how to handle and deal with them more than the staff there do. They only get basic handling training, it's not their fault. So sometimes the staff asks me questions that can help them in their future. Mid-lockdown, I went in to grab some food and bedding for my 2 boys when I was pulled to the tank of rats with 2 boys in it. I had handled the boys already when they were little before the lockdown. That was about 8 weeks prior. Asked about the selling policies because they were getting too big for the tank and I felt really bad for them. After some time talking to the staff, the manager eventually let me adopt them because they trusted I could give them a loving home and the attention that they just won't get in the store. They are the most spoiled rats ever, I swear. Since then, I've been in a lot, buying stuff and talking to the staff and getting to know them well. Due to the distancing restrictions, the animal area is barricaded off so customers can't get in there. One of the managers came up to me asking if I'd be able to have a look at a couple of the girls they have had there as well since before the lockdown because one of them seems aggressive. They don't know how to handle her or what to do. I take a look and quickly deduct that she is almost completely blind. I offer to come in and handle her whenever I can, and they agree that would be a good idea. I'd like to add that store policy restricts employees from handling animals outside of selling and feeding, which they hate as much as I do. After handling her and her sister for a while, I stood near the checkout chatting to the staff member on duty. We'll call him Jay. For a while. And this time, maybe 5 minutes, there was a woman, we'll call her Karen, with a boy who was maybe 6, who started scoffing at us. I was wearing black jeans and a Rick and Morty print tee. Don't judge me, it was cheap. And the staff uniform is black cargo pants and a bright colored polo, usually green or blue for all staff members. Jay and I share a glance that says, "Here we go." Jay, in the best customer service voice I've heard. "Hi, how can I help you today?" Karen, "My son wants a rabbit. He can't go and see them. Move the barricade so he can pick one." Jay, "I'm sorry, but I'll have to ask you to wait for my colleague to come back from her break so she can help you." Karen scoffs, "You can help us, can't you?" Jay, "I apologize, but someone has to be on the register at all time. I can't leave. My colleague will be back in a minute to help you." Karen, gesturing to me, "Well, why can't she help me?" Me, "Oh, I'm sorry. Don't talk back to me. I saw you in there alone, so you can help us." Jay, "Ma'am, she doesn't work here." "Then why can she go in and I can't?" Jay, "She's a trusted customer who knows how to handle our rats. She was simply looking in on them as one of them seems to be blind. She confirmed that for us." "This is disgusting. Why are you allowing one customer in but not me? My poor baby just wants a rabbit to play with. Is that too hard for you to understand?" Jay, "As I said, my colleague will be back to help you. Feel free to look in from the barrier." Karen, looking at me, "You obviously work here. Why else would you be talking to the staff? Now move the barrier so my son can look at the bunnies." Me, "Seriously, I don't work here. I was just checking the rats." Karen, "Then fine. Check the rabbits so my son can pick one." Me, "I can't do that. It's not my job and I know nothing about them." "I want to see you fired, refusing to help a customer. This is unacceptable." About now is when the other employee, we'll call her Tara, comes out. She was wearing a different color than Jay. Tara, "Is everything okay here, Jay?" Karen, "Are you the manager? I want this girl fired. She refused to help me." Tara, "She doesn't work here, miss. Is there something I can help you with?" Karen, "My son wants to buy a rabbit, but this girl refused to help. What kind of store is this anyway?" I gesture bye to Tara and Jay while she is on her rant and start heading to the door. Karen, "Where do you think you're going? I want to see you get fired. Your attitude towards me was very rude." Tara looks at me and we both sigh. Tara, "OP, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. We don't tolerate rude behavior toward our customers." Me, realizing this is the only way it'll be sorted. "What? No, I love working here." Tara, "I'm sorry, but this was unacceptable. You have been a good employee until now. Thank you for working for us." I pretend to look sad and walk out. After a couple of days later, I went back in and Jay was on the tills again. I asked him what happened after I left, and he told me that she was unimpressed with how we treated her, so she will find somewhere else to get her son a rabbit. The store holds the right to decide if someone can purchase an animal, and I doubt they would have let her anyway. Speaking of pets, do you guys have any pets? And if so, what kind? Please let us know.
I have a poodle, and she means everything to me.
Can we have 35 sandwiches to go for our meeting in 30 minutes? This happened almost 2 years ago when I worked at Evil Bookstore Corporation in their cafe that proudly serves Siren coffee, but not their food. For the millionth time, no, we do not sell cake pops. Unlike a normal Siren coffee store, our food came from another vendor famous for cheesecakes, meaning our offerings were a lot different and so was our stock. I'm not sure how other locations did it, but we kept a stock of about 5 thawed sandwiches of each type of sandwich available, so about 25 were at finger's length at any time. Our sandwiches sometimes sold, but we did have to toss at least 1 or 2 every night. The sandwiches honestly messed up the flow of the cafe, as they took about 3 minutes to cook, while most of the other food was just taking it out of the pastry case and putting it on the plate. You had to almost guard the oven to make sure they didn't burn if left in for a few seconds longer than the timer went off, so you couldn't do other time-necessary tasks like steaming milk or intensive processes like making blended ice cream beverages. It was a summer day, fairly busy, but getting towards the later part of the evening, about 2 or 3 hours to close. The other cafe worker was on their 30-minute lunch when 2 fairly young adults walked up. The conversation went something like this. Me. Hi, what can I get started for you? Them. You have sandwiches, right? Me. We do. Lists options. Them. Okay, awesome. Could we have 7 of each? We have a church meeting in 30 minutes. Me, flabbergasted. Well, we have about 25 sandwiches available. They take 3 minutes each, and I can only do 1 at a time because we only have 1 oven. Them. Oh, I mean, we'll take the 25 then. Me, mentally calculating. It will take about 75 minutes for me to do all of them, and your meeting is in 30 minutes. They stepped aside to talk about it. I'm panicking inside because there is no way I could make all these sandwiches and serve other customers. While they were debating, I had to make 5 blended ice cream beverages and a snack. Down to 24 now. Coworker is nowhere in sight. I am drowning. The line is growing. I am in the pastry case when they lean over and ask me where to get sandwiches if they can't get them here. Me, frazzled. Internally I am screaming, thinking they could have planned this in advance. Also, I am covered in whipped cream. This is not the time. They stepped away again and were calling one of the stores, I think. My line cleared up and they came back and asked again, saying, "Are you sure you can't?" I told them, "Yes, I am very sure. I am so sorry." They left. The next day, I told the cafe manager, a very evil man, the story, thinking he'd also find it preposterous, but instead, I got scolded because we could have used the profits. I rebutted, saying, "Okay, who was going to serve the other customers then while coworker was on break and I'm stuck making 25 sandwiches?" He had nothing to say. Speaking of sandwiches, what is your favorite sandwich of all time? Please let us know.
Sweet onion chicken teriyaki at Subway for the win.
Enjoy your hand sanitizer. So I have this friend, sorta. Let's call her Karen, even though she's the same age as me, a teenager. When we were younger, I caught her a few times having stolen stuff from me and her friends, and was generally a stealing, lying jerk. But we sometimes got along, and our relationship is complicated, and she thinks we are fantastic friends, so I don't tell her otherwise. She also set me up with my current girlfriend, but that's a different story. I also have a really good peripheral vision, and people often get mad when I could see them do stuff out of the corner of my eye that they thought I couldn't. So I went shopping with my friends late last year, and my friend, not Karen, drags me into a certain shop for body products. As it was one of the last shops we could go to, and I still had a decent amount of money left, I bought a lip balm and 2 small, scented, expensive as heck, bottles of hand sanitizer. I never used them, so the size of them didn't bother me. It was just for random occasions when I needed them, or wanted my hands to smell nice. I got home, put them on my desk, and used them about 3 times the rest of the year. Then, in about March, Karen came over and asked,
Hey, can I have one of these bottles of hand sanitizer?
And I tell her, no. I bought them myself, and they are very expensive. She looks at me, fake smiling, and says,
Oh, okay then.
And I swear, I can see her grab one off the desk very obviously as soon as I turn back to my PC. Without looking at her, I say, "Put that bottle back." I said no. Karen is surprised and quickly puts it back, looking at me innocently, saying,
What do you mean?
At this point, I look up and say, "You know I have good vision. Don't try and take my stuff when I've told you no." Then reached over and put the bottle in my desk drawer and go back to what I was doing. The next day she comes over again and her mom is with her. The mother starts getting mad at me, saying Karen told her I stole her hand sanitizer and that I locked it in my desk. I told her I don't have a lock on my desk and that I bought that hand sanitizer last year. She was still mad and shouting at me to give back the hand sanitizer. No one else was home as my family were all shopping or at school. I go to online school and Karen is homeschooled, so no one could back me up or save me from her. I finally get fed up, go inside and grab one of the bottles of the hand sanitizer and an old lotion tube I never threw away because I'm messy. I screw off the cap of the lotion lid and squeeze the sanitizer into the bottle, sealing it back up and putting it in my desk. I put the bottle in my pocket and walk back to the door. This'll just take a moment. I forgot I put it in the kitchen. She nods, still mad, and Karen is smiling in success as I walk off again. I reach the kitchen and grab a bottle of ketchup, mixing it with chunky aloe vera gel and awkwardly shoving it into the hand sanitizer bottle. This makes a sort of translucent pink gel that looks like strawberry hand sanitizer. As that was the scent for this one, the smell of the original hand sanitizer is very strong and it overpowers the ketchup, making it seem convincing. I come back and hand her the tiny bottle of ketchup and aloe vera, looking directly at Karen and saying, "I'm so sorry I stole. I don't know what came over me." They both look smug and turn to leave. Her parents saying,
She won't be returning again. I don't want you stealing more of her stuff. And you're lucky we don't press charges on you because you're a kid.
I put on a sad face and say, "That's a shame," before slamming the door in her stuck-up face. I hope she enjoys her hand sanitizer. Would you be friends with someone who stole from you? And why or why not? Please let us know.
There's nothing wrong with stealing if you get something good out of it.
Karen thinks her son deserves honors placement regardless of his grades. I worked in a pretty affluent school district for 14 years and met a lot of entitled parents. These two from my first year of teaching never left my mind though. Obviously, dialogue is not really accurate. As an 8th grade English teacher, it was my job to recommend either Honors English, Level 1 English, or Level 2 English for my students' 9th grade year. Personally, I hated this. I want kids to work to the best of their abilities and not make them feel inferior when they just might not be mentally mature enough for a higher placement yet. Math and science also had to make similar recommendations. To clarify, Level 1 was a normal, rigorous class, probably comparable to the class I was currently teaching. Level 2 was for kids who really struggled with reading and writing. Honors was very intense. Students would write numerous papers that might not even get graded. They would have multiple chapters to read independently each night, frequent tests and quizzes, and no grammar instruction because they should already have mastered it at this point. It was probably appropriate for maybe 20% of my students at most. Math and science were tracked in the same way. Parents never liked this either. Multiple complaints every year, but parents could choose to waive their kids into whichever level they decided. Pretty much never went well. So many kids who would waive into honors would fail quarter 1 and need to drop a level before the end of the semester. On the other hand, if they dominated in level 1, their current teacher could suggest moving them up. These two entitled parents asked for a meeting with me, the math teacher and science teacher. When they joined us in the room we were meeting in, they were absolutely simmering with rage. Their son had not been recommended for any honors classes, and that was not okay. Basically, we explained, kiddo did a good job, did his homework, got solid B's and some A's, did what he was asked. No more, no less. He fit the description of a level 1. Entitled Dad.
Either you are all wrong, or this school has failed our son. He came in with straight A's in elementary school. You obviously didn't teach him well enough, or you placed him incorrectly.
Entitled Mom.
My husband and I graduated from Ivy League schools. Our other 2 kids are in Ivy League schools.
Us. Okay, but we aren't placing them or you. We're placing this kiddo. And pretty much, if you do your work in our elementary schools, you get an A. Entitled Dad.
Well then, you need to give him more time to do better. He obviously wasn't trying.
Us. Honors kids don't need to be warned to try. They just try and succeed because they are really advanced in these areas.
How will he get into a good college if he is at level 1?
Every year, almost all of the senior class goes on to college. Some fantastic colleges too. Plus, if he does well, he can go up a level.
Then put him in honors, and if he does badly, he can move down.
Us. That can be really tough on a kid. To be in a class with others and then have to leave because you can't achieve what they can? Also, the class has to slow down to try to help any kid who isn't grasping the material, and now the whole class is behind. It's much better for a kid's self-esteem to do so well they move up. Also, remember, you can wave him in. Entitled Mom.
We don't want to wave him in. We want you to recommend him.
Entitled Dad.
All of our friends' kids are in honors. How would it look if we had to wave ours in?
Ding, ding, ding. There it is. They can't hold their heads high in the country club if their son is just normal. We ended up saying if he made a drastic improvement by the end of the year, we would reconsider. By the way, he didn't. Even with some incredible papers written at home for my class, weird how he couldn't write as well in class. Parents waved him in. He did horrible in all 3 and ended up back in level 1 for all except science. Ended up passing science by the skin of his teeth. Honestly, my heart goes out to him. That's really difficult, especially if your parents are comparing your success to theirs, your siblings, and your neighbors. Delivery driver gets his karma twice. I was driving down a small country road with a 45-mile-per-hour speed limit that some choose to ignore. And coming up behind me was a standard work truck. I won't name names, but it was a popular automotive parts store delivery truck and got right on my bumper. I'm not in a tiny car, but it's a sedan, and he was so close that all I saw was grille and hood in my mirrors. While I stayed doing the speed limit, after about 3 minutes, he decided that a sharp curve was the perfect time to pass me, and surprise, surprise, there was a car coming after the curve. He swerved at me, and I slammed the brakes, nearly missing his bumper. Thankfully, I had this all on dash cam, front and back. I got home and got the footage on my laptop and called their 1-800 number with his plate number and his truck number. The woman I spoke to was super apologetic, and she asked me to send her the video. She watched it while on the line with me and immediately asked if she could put me on hold. I said yes, and a few minutes go by and she comes back and brings me someone else on the line, the local store manager of that driver. She had sent him the video, and the manager apologized a ton and promised me right then and there that employee was terminated for their behavior. A few weeks go by, and I don't hear anything till a friend of mine on Facebook sends me a link. The driver that was fired managed to get my name from his HR or manager or something and was trying to find me in real life because he lost his job and made a video wearing his work uniform threatening me because of everything. I went to my local police station about it and showed them the video and explained everything and was told I needed to speak to that company again because they let my name get out. I called them and told them everything going on, and I was told I'd get a call from their HR department within 2 to 3 business days. Literally 6 hours later, I received a call from some higher up HR person with one of their legal team on the phone. They wanted me to sign a document stating I won't publicly go after them or give negative PR if they sue him for me and get a restraining order and everything on this guy for what he threatened. They even offered to have a lawyer of my choosing go over it with me at no cost to me and sign it and have them handle it. Another few more weeks go by, and that friend on Facebook, he knows that guy's family or something, said that the dude's mom posted some sob story that her son is going through some expensive court case that he likely won't win because the other team is over 10 lawyers. So not only lost his job, but then tried to find me only to have his ex-employer sue him. Next we've got, entitled parent calls my dad a liar because he doesn't look disabled. For some reason, it's almost like my dad and I are entitled parent magnets. When we're together, we usually have some sort of encounter. They're pretty minor most of the time, but occasionally they are absolute horror shows. This is one of those times. Cast. We've got Bug. That's me, your idiotic narrator. We've got Dad, the big guy I happen to share genes with. We've got entitled Dad, very angry and very overweight man in a minivan. We've got entitled Mom, the minivan man's wife. She was kinda okay. We've got kids 1 and 2. Two very annoying kids, probably about 2 to 3 years younger than me. My dad and I haven't always gotten along, so while I was on leave, we tried to hang out as much as possible. So mostly that was us running to the store for groceries and other little things. This encounter happened in a Walmart parking lot, so I am not surprised by the lack of brain cells from the entire entitled family we met. A little backstory might help, so here it is. My dad is a veteran, 100% disabled due to his time overseas, and as a paratrooper when he was younger. This means he is able to park in handicap spots. He does this occasionally when his knees are giving him more issues than their normal pain. Today is one such day. Now a little more about my dad. Dude does not look like he is any sort of disabled. Even though he's pushing 50, he still works out as much as his body will allow him to. Man is still built like a gorilla and looks like he's still an infantryman. But anyway, on to the story. My mom asked my dad and I to head over to the store to pick up some food for dinner. Honestly, we ended up grabbing more snacks than anything, but we got what mom had asked for. As we were checking out, we heard the voice of God. Not really. It was the intercom asking for the owner of the gray Ford F-150 parked in the handicap spot to please come to customer service. Dad: "Oh man, if someone stole my truck, I'm gonna cry." Me: "Someone probably just doesn't realize that having DV on your license plate means you are a disabled vet. Bet you 20 that's what it is." Him and I finished checking out and headed over to where we were summoned and looked for whoever called for us. The first thing we noticed was the absolute whale of a man, his 2 kids, and his wife standing there. I kid you not, the man's face was beet red, and you probably could have fried an egg on it. Also, to be fair, calling the guy a whale is an overstatement. He probably was only 250 to 275, but that's still fairly heavy. But this is coming from a 150-pound stick bug, so what do I know? Entitled Dad:
Is that your truck? Why the heck did you take up a handicap spot if you're obviously not?
Entitled Mom. Her voice actually would have been pleasant if she wasn't so angry.
My husband has very serious hip issues, and he had to walk from the back of the parking lot to the front of the store because of your rudeness.
Dad: "Sir, ma'am, I can park there. I'm a disabled vet." Entitled Dad:
BS. If you're so disabled, you shouldn't be able to maintain your body like that.
Me: "Sir, he was injured overseas. Some days it's worse than others, and today his knees keep locking up." My dad then lifted his pants leg to show them his knee braces, which honestly looks like some futuristic exoskeleton make you run fast and jump far kind of thing. The woman immediately looked embarrassed and apologized, something I wish her husband had done. Entitled Dad:
I don't give a crap. I had to risk messing up my hip even more because your sensitive little dad's knees hurt, kid. I have actual pain.
Entitled Mom:
Sir, please forgive my husband. He's just angry right now.
Entitled Dad:
Shut up, entitled Mom. Let me handle it. Dang it.
My dad and I honestly just wanted to buzz off at that point, so we turned around to walk away when I felt a hand on my shoulder. Kid 1:
Hey, kid, apologize to my dad before you leave, jerk.
Now most stories would be like, "This kid didn't realize I was a black belt in every form of hand-to-hand combat," but I'm a realist and don't enjoy fighting very much. Me: "Bro, I don't have to apologize for crap, so let me go." Kid 1:
No, jerk. My dad could have hurt his hip from walking because of you two. Apologize.
Me: "I don't think I want to." At that point, I was mad from this kid having his grimy high school hand on my shoulder, so I yanked his hand off of me and started to walk away.
Hey, forget you, kid.
My dad and I just walked away and got into the truck. When we shut our doors, we both burst out laughing because of the entitled dad's idiocy and his kid's rudeness. Dad: "Hey man, I'm proud of you for not starting a fight or anything. Thanks for standing up for me too, but I had it." Me: "I was standing up for you? Nah man, I was just making sure he didn't realize you were disabled, so I won the bet." Dad: "Never mind, you're a jerk." Me: "Yeah, I get it from my dad." And that's it. No big scene or climax or anything. Nobody got arrested. We just went home and made some enchiladas and had a few bowls of ice cream afterwards. Hey Karen, can you read us our new review we just got on iTunes?
Mr. Red Sox 93 says, I really love these stories on here, and on the greatest Karen storyteller of all time, a Salute to you, Mr. Reddit.
Thanks, Red Sox. We hope you continue to enjoy the Mr. Reddit podcast, available on Spotify and iTunes.
And join as a channel member today, or leave us a review on iTunes, and we'll give you a special shout out in our next video. And if you'd like us to make a special video for you, to use in any way you wish, come visit us on Fiverr, link pinned in the comments below.